Okay, we're going to be doing a line project, and we're going to be using the word love to create our line drawing. So on a small piece of paper, we're going to start with block letters, and you can lightly sketch out your letters. You want to make them wide enough so that you're able to fill in the letters with different patterns. And after you've lightly sketched out your letters, you're going to use a Sharpie or another kind of black marker that has a tip to it, and you're going to start from left to right and outlining your letters. So you can fill up your space from left to right with your letters, and then start to trace your pencil drawing after you have drawn out your letters. Okay. I'm going to take your time. Don't rush. And you can see after you start to trace your letters with marker how the lines pop. Now if you'd like to use a ruler to have straighter edge lines, that's fine. I just did this freehand. And as you can see, I've filled up my paper with my letters. We just want to make it simple, and we want to have some fun. There. Now after you've traced your lines, your pencil lines, you want to make sure that you use an eraser to clean up any existing lines that are still showing. And clean your paper off. Now, in a couple of samples that I have already, and before I told you this, as you can see in this sample, I've done a little overlapping with my O and V. That's okay. And they kind of have a little bit of they're not even across. And on this sample, I've just done them evenly across and created different patterns in each letter. So you can start, if you feel most comfortable, having a nice variety and flow in your letters of pattern and shapes, that you can first start by using your pencil and then trace it with your marker after, if you feel most comfortable doing that. And some of your patterns can go off the side of your line. As you can see there, you see some in its entirety and some part of it. And then you can start tracing with your black marker. And I'm using a thinner marker and a thicker marker. It doesn't have to be necessarily these brands, but this one is an extra fine point, and this one is a fine point. So I'm just going to start tracing what I have already. And it makes a big difference once you've traced your pencil lines, as you can see how the patterns really pop out. Now if you feel comfortable just using your marker and drawing your patterns, that's okay too. There we go. All right, maybe I'll just add one more. right underneath there. Okay, and then you don't want to do the entire letter with the same pattern. You want to kind of mix it up a little bit. And I just see a little space where I see a little pencil line. Cleaning that up a little. And I'm starting on another shape, small circles. And I can randomly color some of them in. I'll have some that are empty and some that are colored in. Okay. Make sure any areas that you are coloring in that you color any little spaces that you didn't get. You want it to look nice and clean. Okay, I'm going to switch markers. So you'll see me switching back and forth with my markers just so that I can get some skinnier lines and some thicker lines. There we go. And I'm done with my first letter. So I'm going to move on to my second one. And the curved shape is a little bit more of a challenge, but can definitely work. So I'm just going to add some triangles to the side of my letter. And as you can see, the line is touching the outline. So I wanted to add a little bit more. So one possibility would be coloring in between these skinnier triangles, or you can add a triangle within a triangle and color in the smaller one. And I just want to stress that you do not have to do the same patterns that I'm doing. I'm just trying to give you as many ideas as possible. But you'll also notice that I'm not doing the same pattern in each letter. I like to mix it up. I like to try some new ideas. Alright, and you can use your thicker marker to just clean up any spaces, coloring in any smaller areas that might not be completely filled in. And then I'm just going to add make sure it touches the side. Okay, and I think I'll go over here and just do some small dots. And then I'm going to make my dots medium size. I'm using the same marker for that. Remember, there are no mistakes in art. I can't stress enough to have fun with it. And I'm even going to go a little larger. So one idea is to draw out your circle and then color it in. It's a little easier that way. Ah, not quite round. There you go. think I'll finish off this letter with the rest of my dots. And it's okay to just have part of a shape that you may not be able to fit the entire shape in, just so you can see part of it to create balance in your design. Okay, I'm going to move on to my next letter. And I think I'm just going to start with some X's. And you can start with one pattern and then you can elaborate and make it a little bit more detailed. So as you can see, this one, I've added a couple more straight lines to fill it out. So I would start with a straight line out and then cross over and one more time. It's a lot of fun. There we go. And I'm going to go over to this side and I'm going to add just some loops. And I'm going to take that right down to where the other pattern is and stop, and then do something else. So I think I'm going to add some ovals. So some ideas would be diamond shapes, ovals, triangles, circles, dots, zigzags. And don't be in a rush. Your shapes will be much nicer if you take your time and focus on what you're doing. I think I'll just fill the rest of this out since I've already started that pattern. And then I have a little bit of space on the bottom, so I am going to maybe do some zigzags and then color the center one in. Now if I had more space, I would have a pattern would be every other zigzag colored in. So I've got my last letter, and I think what I'll do is I'll start with a diamond shape. So I make an upside down V and then a right side up V. I've got a nice diamond shape. Upside down and then right side up. And I think I'll add one in between. And then one right here. And then one more. Now I've got a little bit of space right over here, so I'm going to add part of a diamond shape that goes right off the edge of your paper. I'm going to divide these in half to make it a little bit more interesting. And I think I'm going to add one more. Okay, I'm going to use my other marker to just color in the lower half of these diamond shapes. One way to color it in is to outline it first, so you have a nice clean, crisp line, and then fill it in. Okay. And you want to try to stay within the lines. Looks nice. Okay. I'm going to switch again, and I'm going to add some medium-sized circles. I'm not going to fill up all of the space with the circles, and then I'm going to make a cross. Straight lines crossing over each other inside the circle. Oop. That one went awry. And then I have room for probably one more right over here. Okay. That one became an X instead, or a cross instead of an X. And then I have a little bit of space where I could have half of a 1. Okay. All right. I'm going to use my other marker and color part of it in. I think I'll just do the sides on this one. Depending on how much space you've got, it is what marker you'll use. So if it's super tiny, you need to go in with a skinnier marker. If you don't have a skinnier marker, then just take your time with the marker you have, medium size, outline and color that section in. Oop. Now on this one, I'll do it this way. Okay, and then go back to this side. And I think for the rest of my letter, I'm just going to draw a straight line across, maybe color that part in, and then do like a checkered pattern. And then take a line going right through the center. Make sure that your lines touch the outline of your drawing. And then you could just color in every other one to create a pattern. So that box is filled in. I'm going to skip one and then go to another one. There's so many patterns you can come up with, and challenging yourself with them is so much fun. Okay, I don't have room at the end. I'll leave that empty. And then on the second row, I will start off leaving the first one empty and color in the next one. So I have a nice checkerboard pattern. So you can see every other one. And then the last bit right here. And there you have it. So when you look at the word, you'll notice that there's a variety of thick and thin lines and other lines that are colored in, other shapes and patterns that are colored in. So you have a nice balance and variety to your artwork. Oop, there we go. Okay. All right, that's it for now. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.